I have been every voice.
You are the chosen one!
Anakin! Anakin!
This is where the fun begins.
Inside your head.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Daisy Ridley and more. As always my dear Megalorians, before we dive into the news, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so, and also be sure to give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post new videos. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we're going to start with the Book of Boba. It's been confirmed on Instagram from the hair department that after some final reshoots over the last few days, the show has officially and finally wrapped up and it's now moving into post-production. This is amazing news because if the rumours we heard a month ago are true, then we can expect our first official Book of Boba Fett trailer sooner rather than later. It could be around mid-July, but as I say, nothing is confirmed, but I think that's a reasonable estimate. There is of course a chance that they're going to go the Mandalorian Season 2 route, which was to wait until October to release something, but in my opinion that is not a wise marketing strategy. So that's what we know for the Book of Boba Fett, and with the Bad Batch in full swing now, it's worth pointing out we still don't know anything about the third show of 2021, and that is Star Wars Visions, which is estimated to be released in September, but we don't know for sure. 2 days ago it was reported that Star Wars Visions could very well be just a series of anime shorts rather than being a fully fledged storyline, and to be honest, we already have an amazing animated show for this year, so I'm not too concerned about it. But of course, as a Star Wars fan, I do hope it turns out to be something good. I think I speak for a lot of us when I say we're all far more eager for the Book of Boba Fett, but the main takeaway from this piece of news is that the Book of Boba is wrapped up and moving into post. So now we're going to move on to our next topic, Daisy Ridley. In the last few days, as you've probably seen, there have been a lot of rumours circulating the internet about Daisy Ridley returning to Star Wars as Rey in an upcoming project. Whether it's a sequel trilogy series that continues her story after the rise of Skywalker, or a cinematic release set to hit cinemas in the next few years, is still yet to be seen. But how true are these rumours? Let's talk about it. As you may or may not remember, last November Daisy Ridley spoke up about not being able to find work after Star Wars. At the time she even said that she doubts she would ever return to Star Wars in the future. Well, that changed rather quickly because a couple of months later, around the time Gina Carano was fired, she changed her tune by stating that she was open to coming back and would even consider the possibility when the moment is right. But the latest rumour suggests that she's in talks with Lucasfilm right now about reprising the role of Rey sooner rather than later. So could we be gearing up for more Rey Skywalker in a galaxy far, far away? That may be the case if this rumour is to be believed, but I must caution that this is merely just a rumour and should be regarded as such. Until Daisy Ridley or Lucasfilm weigh in officially, it should not be taken as anything more. When it comes to this rumour, there were no further details provided, and that muddies up the water for how Rey would return. Having said that, the Star Wars franchise is definitely expanding, and so in theory there's so many opportunities to bring back Rey. For example, if Rian Johnson's trilogy is actually happening, it could follow on from the rise of Skywalker and be very post-sequels oriented. We also know that Taika Waititi is directing a mysterious Star Wars movie. Any of these in theory could have a place for Rey. Inverse on the other hand had a completely different idea, and they started a rumour which states that Rey is going to appear in the Mandalorian Season 3, and the way that's going to come about is through a massive time jump between Seasons 2 and 3 where Mando comes across a young Rey. There was a very similar rumour going around last year and now it seems to have made a return, but I don't think we're going to see a young Rey, but I could be wrong. Aside from the Mandalorian Season 3, the Book of Boba is debuting on Disney this December, and we also have Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, an untitled event series, Andor, Lando, The Acolyte and more. Be that as it may, most of these timelines would seemingly negate the possibility of a Rey appearance, as many of them take place long before The Force Awakens. So it's most likely going to be a project set after the events of Episode 9. Now, ever since the sequel trilogy ended, many Star Wars fans were under the impression that Lucasfilm wanted to detach itself from the Skywalker saga, especially the last 3 films. It would explain why so much Rise of Skywalker merch was shelved, why they've been prioritising the Mandalorian merch and prequels merch, and really pushing the new shows while staying very quiet with sequel material. But don't be mistaken, my friends, because they're not done with Rey or the sequels, not by a long shot. We know that it's extremely likely The Mandalorian is leading to the sequel trilogy timeline, and a few months ago there was a lot of buzz about a rumour that Djarin would run into young Rey in a future season of Mando. There's a good chance that Lucasfilm will continue to explore the aftermath of the sequels in some way rather than just an animated series. Now, something I've always said on the channel is that I'd be more than happy to get a post-sequels era movie, but not right away. The sequels are too fresh in people's memories, and I believe that the movies should be given time to brew. It'd be great to revisit Rey's story arc in about 10 or 15 years, when Daisy Ridley is a bit older, and we can see the progression and maturation of the character. One of my big complaints about the sequel trilogy itself was in fact that there was hardly any time gap between the three movies, and so some of this natural progression and maturation that would occur in the stories of the characters was never really achieved. But whichever way the post-sequel trilogy story is told, I really hope this time there's a concrete plan right from the start, and they're not just going to fire and rehire directors all over again. This is actually why I think if we were to get a Rey project, instead of a trilogy, it should just be one cohesive movie and not a series. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So finally, my dear friends, we're going to be talking about Matt Lanter, who played Anakin in the Clone Wars, or rather voiced Anakin in the Clone Wars, and as we know, he's going to voice him again in a mysterious upcoming animated project. But recently he stated what it was like to say goodbye to Anakin on the Clone Wars. So let's dive into it. They say parting is such sweet sorrow, but for Matt Lanter and his role as Anakin on Star Wars The Clone Wars, goodbye never seems to last forever. Between cameos in other animated Star Wars projects, video games, and more in franchise media, Lanter is always reprising his iconic animated voice. But despite Lanter never really saying goodbye to Anakin in animated form, closing up the 7th season was still very emotional for him, especially after he and fans waited so long to get that final season. Those 6 years passed between the end of season 6 back in 2014 and the series' last season last year. The turbulent conclusion was definitely worth the wait. On saying goodbye to Anakin and Star Wars The Clone Wars, Matt Lanter said, "It is sad. We're always doing Star Wars projects. We're always doing games and shows and movies or whatever it is. I'd never really put Anakin down. I mean, we're constantly doing things, right? So it's not like I'm never voicing Anakin again." Lanter also teased during the interview a secret Anakin Skywalker project that he can't reveal details on. In his own words, he went on to say, "The character is living with me all the time now, and in the fandom too. People want to talk about Star Wars The Clone Wars. For example, right now the show ended, but we're talking about it. I never quite put him down, and I actually love that. So though we might not be creating new episodes currently, I still feel a part of him. There's sadness in a way that I'm not there with my other co-stars, and we're not creating new Star Wars episodes of The Clone Wars for everybody, but he's still there." Lanter offered a heartwarming take on the matter, telling Looper, "It's not like I've said goodbye forever. It's kind of like going to college. You're still the same person, you're just graduating and you're moving on to a new phase of your life." I personally was so excited when I heard that he would be voicing the character again. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. And that brings us to the end of this Star Wars news update. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And also, guys, if you're feeling generous, please consider becoming a patron. We currently have 3 tiers: the $2 tier, the $10 tier, and the $50 tier, where you get exclusive access to content that's not found here on YouTube. And if you opt for the highest tier, you get a conversation with me once a month for an hour. The link is in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.